Alright everybody, welcome back. So I figure it's been a little bit since I covered one of the flareless planes that I have a habit of covering on this channel, so let's go ahead and take a look at the F11. Now, this is in a much better spot than some of the other aircraft I've covered, like the Harrier, for example. It's sitting at only 9.0. Now, 9.0 has an incredibly favorable matchmaker, and it has for quite some time. You get a ton of games at 8.0 like I'm doing right here, and even if you don't get a full down tier at 8.0, most of the time you're going to be getting like 9.3, maybe 9.7 games. I played probably 30 or 40 games of F11 getting ready for this video. Maybe a little bit less. I might be overestimating it. But I can only remember like one 10.0 game. And even then, I didn't run into any SE25s. I didn't have to deal with the R60M, which is always nice. Now, one of the really super cool things about getting these 8.0 matches is that you have 4 AIM-9Bs. And AIM-9Bs were made to be able to kill bombers, and you actually run into bombers in these down tiers. It's really funny, because you'll run into IL-28s or B-57s or Canberras or whatever else, and you just fire an AIM-9B at them and they just die. Same thing for the Votors. Now, the Votors can actually dodge them, but most of the time they don't, because they're just focused on bombing a base. And this plane is fast enough that he can usually get to them before they bomb their base, or at least a little bit after. Now, it does have some issues. One of them is the rudder. You saw it just miss my shot on that G91 right there, just because the rudder is kind of whacking out for me. But in these down tiers, you were like the second fastest plane around. The only other thing that I think of as faster is that Q5 that just flew past me, and that thing is a massive brick and is not nearly as capable in a fight as the F11. Now, you get 4 Colts, plus your 4 AIM-9Bs, of course, and the Colts, they did get hit with a real shadow treatment, so I would recommend running the AP belts on them, just because they do a lot more reliable damage. Now, you still are going to have some issues. Because you're running AP, you are going to have to worry about, getting hits and crits, because unlike high explosive shells used to do, you have to directly hit, whatever the component is. You're still fine most of the time if you just get a center mass shot and you can just kill their engine or something else like that. But a lot of times you will get stuff just like that MiG-15 right there, where I hit him and I literally just get a hit. I get nothing else. Now, remember how we were talking about bombers earlier? Yeah, that's a TU-4. Now, bombers especially, you don't really want to attack right now if you can help it, just because of real shatter. Bombers got basically artificially buffed by this. They are much more resilient than they used to be. But the AIM-9B doesn't have really any issues with it. You still get some hits and crits sometimes with it, just because the AIM-9B did also get real shatter, sadly enough. But it's still pretty reliable at killing these aircraft, so it is a prop plane, so it takes a second to get a lock, but you see at like 1.3, I get my AIM-9B off. Luckily, he doesn't shoot out of the air, and kablooey, we have a exploded Excalibur. Sorry, bro. I hope your repair cost isn't too bad anymore. I do get immense satisfaction out of killing TU-4s with the AIM-9Bs. Way back in the day, they were so incredibly overpowered, it was unreal. Now that I'm out of missiles, though, I am down to just my guns. There's no issue, though. As long as you're running the AP, it still does reasonable damage. You just gotta hope that it's just like this MiG-15 who just kind of flies in a straight line unless you get a good burst into him, and I had no issues whatsoever taking him out. And with that, we've now got 3 missile kills and 2 gun kills already, and I'm still going to keep going. So, MiG-17 over there, that is called a LIM 5P in-game, but the MiG-17 is very capable. You do want to be careful dogfighting these people. You are relatively capable in a dogfight, especially at lower speeds of your landing flaps out, but a MiG-17, a Yak-23, they are still going to be very, very good in a dogfight, much better than you. You are not going to win. You might get lucky and force an overshoot or something like that, or, you can kind of pull inside them, but just don't fully commit. They're going to out-energy you at some point, and then they'll just get on your 6 and kill you. This plane flies very similarly to the F100, at least last I remember. It doesn't pull as hard, and there's another real shatter hit in the head-on, which is always wonderful. But yeah, like I was saying, it has a similar top speed to the F100. You're not really going to hit Mach on the deck, although it is supersonic at higher altitudes. And then it has a better sustained turn rate, but a worse AOA than the F100. But just, you can imagine, it's going to perform roughly similar. You can pull inside people. You can see I'm hitting like 9 Gs right here, which is pretty respectable. Although it does compress a little bit at higher speed, so you do want to keep that in mind. I did crash into the ground earlier today whenever I was doing that. But you got to kind of lead just in front of him a little bit. Most of the time you'll be totally fine. You can see I just set that MiG-15 bis on fire on his engine. He's not going to be putting that out. Even if he did, because the EFS mod, he'd still crash a couple minutes later. It just means that they steal your kill if someone tries shooting him in the meantime. I'm going to do the exact same thing this F84F right here, and there's really nothing they can do. Because I'm just going so much faster. Having an afterburner is a huge advantage, especially in these full down tiers 8.0, which you get very often. You're just so much faster than everything else that even if you do screw up, you can just accelerate away from them. Same thing with this Yak-23 right here. You can see I am pulling inside of him. Even though he is more maneuverable than me, I get a crit, and then he's in a spin, and all I gotta do is just shoot him. So, there's 8 kills. Unfortunately, I was trying to go for 10 or 11 for the video, which I thought would be pretty cool, but it didn't work out just because the game ended on tickets, which is very, very fun. I don't want to start ranting, but... Now, here is one other disadvantage. You can see my nose keeps dropping as I'm trying to shoot right here. There's something going on with the spoilers or the elevator or something. I'm not 100% sure. It's a similar issue to what the A6 has, which makes me think it is a spoiler issue. But at these higher speeds, when you're rolling, it has this terrible habit of dropping the nose. You can see the nose keeps dropping way below, and it gets really bad at some points. It does not feel good. Just keep that in mind whenever you are behind someone and you're trying to shoot them and you're rolling, your nose is going to drop. I'd recommend not even touching your keyboard most of the time if you're trying to get accurate shots off, just because it really does screw with you. It's been like this since release. Like, I've had it since the event way back in the day, and it has always been like this, and they just haven't fixed it. I'm assuming it's something to do with having the spoilers and that they can't actually fix it, but it is just something to keep in mind. It is the thing that annoys me the most about the aircraft, though, because I like the flight performance overall. That is my one complaint. So, just the fact that you get to fight all these 8.0s and 8.3s so consistently is just honestly unreal. This plane has been under-tiered since the day it released, and now with how favorable the Matchmaker is, it's even better. Because honestly, it's competitive in 9.3 and 9.7 matches, minus the whole, no flares thing, but nothing else really has flares that BR anyways. And now if the SK-25 got moved up, you don't have to deal with all aspect missiles anymore, just the really good rear aspect ones like the AIM-9Gs the Harriers have, which are quite often on your team anyways, at least as long as you have, historical Matchmaker. Now, I'm about to show off a little bit of that low-speed maneuverability I was talking about. You can see I popped the landing flaps out, and I'm actually cutting inside this MiG-15 in the, I believe it's called the one circle. I'm not familiar with the LARPer terminology of the one circle. But I'm cutting inside him every single time. I do get real shattered a couple times, but that time, if you check and see, I did actually take his tail off, which is why I just go ahead and leave. Because I see an LA-15 coming, and he will absolutely dunk me in a dogfight if I don't build up my speed and come back in. Which is exactly what I do. I'm above him now, and I am going to get real shattered again right here, but something kind of funny happens. Now, I do actually manage to hit him here in the first burst right here. I go ahead and hit him again a couple more times, get like hits and sparks, then I actually run out of ammo. Now, you see the Saber is actually starting to shoot him. He whiffs all of his shots somehow, and I get the kill still, which is just absolutely unreal. Now, I do have to head back to base right now and grab some more. I'm going to go back and get this last kill, but I did just want to say, this plane is very fun. If you have it, I recommend giving another try. Now, the Matchmaker is super good. And, yeah, I'll see y'all next time. And, by the way, I did actually go ahead and make a new outro. It's coming up after this, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. And, peace, y'all. I appreciate you watching.